Hey guys, my name is Michael Lehman and I'm a filmmaker based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And today we're going to be talking about, well, this, my YouTube setup, my home studio, this, office spaces I've built out here in my garage, kind of go over what I planned, how I did it, and what it looks like now. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Just a little bit of background before we get into the video, why I built this studio to begin with, this whole office space, YouTube set, everything. So like I said, I'm a filmmaker in Myrtle Beach. I started as just a freelance photographer and videographer doing some jobs for myself, and then got into some bigger jobs I had to have some help on. So me and a friend of mine wound up sub-hiring each other's companies out, basically, and we got to a point where we decided to just make a company out of it. So as far as why I built this space, really, I was kind of cramped before with the space I had my desk in, and I just wanted to have my own space where everything could be all together at once. As you'll see here in a minute, I broke this studio up into 3 different sections. I really just wanted a good office space and a space to actually start a YouTube channel. I'd kind of been making a bunch of excuses for the longest time why I couldn't start one, and one of it was just not having enough space to really set it up the way I wanted to, and it just would have taken too much time to have to set everything up, start recording, then tear everything back down every time I wanted to make a video. So let's start a little bit with the planning process and kind of what I envisioned going into this. What I did is my garage has 3 spaces, each with its own garage door, so I kind of had a good in-between point to cut one of those spaces off and kind of build out this 12-foot wide by 23-foot deep studio space, or room, basically. So from there, I kind of laid everything out, kind of figured what I would need as far as like wood dimensions, ceiling height, and everything to actually build like a temporary wall in order to create this space. And this way, if I ever needed to sell the house or anything else, I could just tear it down and kind of move on from there. So first things first, time frame, how much did it cost? How long did it take? So this took me a total of about probably 4.5 weeks. As far as the cost for it, really actually wasn't too bad. There was a lot of extra things that I bought along the way to kind of finish it out. So the wood and everything itself, I think was $1,000, $1,500 for all the wood, paint, sheetrock, everything like that itself. But then I bought a few other things as far as like some storage racks, toolbox, and I had to buy, the biggest thing for me with this space was something to heat and cool the place because it is in a garage. So several $100s of that went into portable AC and heating units that could then be put up in that garage space. So all in all, I think it wound up being about $2,700 to $3,000 for everything to build it exactly the way I wanted. So first up was the framing. So I basically had a bunch of 2x4s and kind of had to build out the height and everything to get the framing done for the wall. So unfortunately my ceilings here are 12 foot tall, so I had to kind of build like a base first, but that allowed me to kind of anchor that in the ground and have something to attach the rest of the 2x4s to up to the ceiling. So that didn't take too long. Probably the most difficult part of that was having to frame it around where one of the garage door openers were. So that was a little bit of a pain. Didn't quite come out perfect, but kind of good enough, I think, for what I needed it to do in this case. So once the framing was done, the next step was sheetrock. And this actually wasn't too bad. The most difficult part was getting the huge pieces of 5 by 12 foot sheetrock actually to the house, but we got those in, carefully got them in and put them up on the wall, and basically had to do some trimming of each piece too, because it was just a few inches short, or a few inches too long on each of those pieces. So I had to get all those lined up, make sure to cut like around the door frame and everything that I did, and then put them up and nail them down. After that was probably some of the least fun parts, which was getting the door in and then having to insulate the place. That was not fun at all. I don't like dealing with insulation. The time I was doing this was actually like the middle of the summer for us, so it was like 90 degrees out and I'm in a garage without an AC or anything yet. And having to wear long sleeves and pants to do insulation is not fun, but the main thing is I wanted to keep as much temperature control in the room as possible and also keep sound out too for when I'm recording. I think overall I went through like 2 or 3 rolls of insulation, and another important thing I did was buy a insulation kit for my garage door. That was kind of the one wall that I wasn't sure about, and I wanted to leave it as an actual garage door. This way if I get big shipments of gear or anything like that, or I have to load up for a full shoot, I can just open the garage door, load everything out, close the door back. So I didn't want to seal that off, but I still wanted to insulate it a little bit more to match the rest of the insulation. Once that was done was probably one of the easier parts, just something that I learned I'm not very good at, which is painting. You know, sanding down the sheetrock and everything, getting that prepped kind of took a bit of time. And then painting, I learned very quickly that is not my forte, but luckily I used this dark color. I did 2 or 3 coats. It kind of covered up everything pretty well, even my sloppy lines. And it's all bokeh out in the background right now. So you really can't tell any imperfections, which is great. Because I really was trying to do all this basically DIY, just with the help of like my dad and my brother coming over to just help me finish up some of the stuff, and I really didn't want to hire out and spend more labor than I needed to. After that, I was getting pretty close to being done, so really was just finishing some trim pieces, and that was pretty simple to put up, just nail gun and do some caulking around the edges of the sheetrock and everything, and that was basically it from there. So as far as what I did inside once the wall and everything was finished was start, you know, moving all my stuff in, and then also I was trying to figure out what to do with the floors. I thought about moving some like carpeting in here, or I could put some kind of flooring down, but then it'd be a pain if I ever did want to turn it back into a garage space. So actually right now I just kind of put down some rugs and some sound blankets I have, and surprisingly they did pretty well. There's a little bit of shift if I'm moving some stuff around, but most of the time for just walking it actually doesn't move at all, so pretty cheap and easy way to go that works enough for what I needed to here. Like I said in the intro, one of the most important parts was I really wanted heated and cooling in here. So I started out with, I think it was a 5,000 BTU portable air conditioner that I got from a friend. So hooked that up to the window, and that was kind of trying to cool the place. But again, like I said, this was like the middle of, or the end of summer, so it was like 90 degrees out, and it was just not keeping up well with this space. So I actually wound up waiting until everything was completely done, and then towards the end of that, when it started moving into you know, late August, then it was starting to get to the end of summer, which is still really hot here, but in most places, I guess it cooled down. So there were sales for Amazon for portable AC units. So I was able to get one like $300 off and get a 12,000 BTU. So once I did that, was able to hook both those up, and it got cool in here pretty fast. And now, yeah, it actually keeps it right around 69, 70 in here, and half the time they're not even on, which is great. And I can just turn them off for filming, and super convenient. So yeah, that was nice to not have to pay to get heating and air brought into here from the main house, just sticking those portable units. And now if I ever need to take them anywhere else, I can just bring them with me. So from there, just had to bring a few things in. You know, well, I shouldn't say a few things. I had, you know, I got a sit-stand desk here for the YouTube setup. So, I mean, I think it's a flexi spot desk and just nice and simple. This was like the cheapest one I had, like $150, $200. I think I got it on sale. So great for this, nice and adjustable. I got kind of this nice office chair without arms that I could just have to be like sitting there at this spot. The biggest thing again is I just didn't want to have to deal with the frustration of setting stuff down and tearing down every time I wanted to make a video. So now I just made sure I had my own dedicated desk, a chair, and everything set right here, so I can just walk in, turn the cameras on, hit record, and I'm good to go. As far as my desk, I just brought in everything else I had for that. So again, another flexi spot desk. This one was more expensive because this is my nicer, it's longer one, I think a 55-inch, and it's a solid wood top. And I love this desk. It holds a lot of weight. It is super smooth. It's easy to program. It's got 3 different settings and like even an alarm. This way, if you want it to kind of alert you, and every 30 minutes or hour or so, it can, you know, change from sitting to standing. You can do that with an alarm. It's just really nice, and I love it. Then I have this eggshell soundproofing that I put up, just kind of one as an accent behind the desk, so I can turn this into a filming set if I wanted to, but also just to give it a little bit different look and kind of take some reflections off that back wall. And I think I got the pack of it for like $40 on Amazon. So I'll link everything down below so you guys can check out the stuff I used to build this studio out. But definitely thought it gave a good look, super easy to put up. I just got some liquid nail, put it in a caulk gun, and it was up in like 15 minutes. One of the biggest things that I got, or one of my favorite things of the whole build actually, was this Yukon toolbox that I got. I got it from Harbor Freight. I wanted one that had like a wood top so I could kind of use it for charging and also to build my rigs out on. And just having all the different drawers for me to store everything in, all the little bits and gear pieces and extra bags and everything I have, just having this where everything is organized and laid out and I can just open it before every shoot and make sure I have everything, kind of go down drawer by drawer, is fantastic. This thing was like $300-400 and it is like the best purchase I've made in a while as far as organization. then lastly, I just have this area where it's basically just storage. I got a bunch of cases for all the lighting and everything, extra tripods, tripod bags, all kinds of light modifiers. All that stuff can just be shoved right here. So, finishing touches, the stuff that I just kind of really added last. Obviously, I have everything set up here, so I have my C70 set up on my Sachtler tripod. That's going to be my main A cam for it. I have just a C stand here going up with my Canon R7. That's going to be my top-down camera. So pretty light, easy setup for that. I have some impact stands here with just my Zoom F6 on it, running to my Rode NTG3 as a boom mic here, and then just another C stand with the Aputure 300C. That's going to be my main key lane. Some extra finishing touches I have just for aesthetic reasons for the YouTube set is I just got some fake plants. Got one here, one behind me. It was like $7 for the pair of them or something like that, $10 on Amazon. I have this full-time filmmaker tube light here as my rim light, and this thing is incredible. It was like 90 bucks, but it's got a foot switch I can turn on and off, or it just came with this remote, which is really convenient. So I can kind of change that from a warm light to a cool light. And it's pretty nice. And then I got some just different steps of brightness here that I can turn on. Then also as an aesthetic piece, again, towards the plant theme, is I just got a fake plant here for the background. I can't remember exactly what the brand was, but again, I can link that down below if you guys want to get kind of some of the same stuff here for your own setups. Overall, I think that is about it. There's a few extra things I moved in here, some blackout curtains. This way, no matter what time of day I'm filming, I can just close those off and just get the exact same studio lighting set up, so I have consistent lighting in every video. I have a couch over there I can either chill and hang out with if my friends come over or my girlfriend is over just watching me edit. So I have that in there, which is Goodwill, by the way. Can't throw enough grace towards Goodwill. We found the thing, or say my girlfriend found it for $40 and looked it up. It's like a $1,600 couch. Had to do a little bit of cleaning, which for a white couch wasn't the easiest, but again, 40 bucks for a full-size couch, can't complain. So check your local Goodwills. There's some gems there. Other than that, I think that is everything to talk about for the studio. Like I said, I'll put down links to basically everything I talked about and probably a few things that I may have forgotten about, but that have been great parts to have in the studio. So I'll list that down below for you guys to check out. And I think that's it, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, drop a like or subscribe if you like this content. Can't wait to put out more of these videos and kind of get more familiar with the YouTube space here as I'm sharing a lot of my knowledge I have about all the stuff I buy, which is a lot. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.